Hi, you're live at Color Energy, and I'm your host, Susanne Murphy. Today, we're going to talk about how you can grow your holistic business. And I have been studying the dynamics of business for over 30 years. And in fact, when I was in my late 20s, I was the youngest president of the largest small business enterprise here in BC. I studied the way people answered the phone. I studied the way people talked about their business. And this is one of the things that has made me an expert in helping businesses grow. And in fact, I'm involved with multiple businesses today, and we're thriving and more than surviving in this economical challenge. And I wanted to share with you some key tips. But first, I want to talk about why some businesses don't grow. And this is really important, and it might include you. And I'm going to be basing it more on holistic businesses, although it can apply to any business. I used to own an art store. So a lot of these tips are things I did in my own art store. But there's three reasons why businesses don't grow. And you got to understand that it's not personal. It's just sometimes, when we're in the healing business isn't our forte. And in fact, I have a little saying here, and I don't want to hurt or offend anyone, but healers are feelers. You're the ones that work with people who need help. And so therefore, you're very sensitive to other people's energies. And in fact, a lot of healers, a lot of body workers are orange, green, or indigo personalities. So when you understand that those colors are what we call right-brained energies, then you'll understand right-brained people. It's not about the business. It's not about the analytics. It's not about the presentation. Rather, it's about helping people heal. So that's the number one thing that you have to be aware of is the fact that if you are a healer and you are more of a right-brain person, then your left brain may be lacking in regards to helping you build your business. So if you are a right brain person and you're a healer and you're, gravitating towards the orange, greens, or indigo colors, then that is giving you an indication that you are more empathetic or compassionate, more sensitive, because those three colors are the healing colors. Now, in order to tap into your left brain energy, work with the colors yellow, red, blue. Those are left brain colors. And they're also primary colors that are key to business success. And I'll explain in just a minute why I'm saying this. But because of the fact we need to attract people of all color energies, that means we have to put on our thinking cap and create things that will assist us in regards to bringing in all kinds of people. Now, several years ago, I took a marketing course and I loved the story that they shared, and I'm going to share it with you now. But it was three things that you need to do as a new parent to ensure the safety of your child. And number one was, make sure you plug into the light sockets, the protectors, so your little toddlers aren't sticking their fingers in the light socket. Number two was put away all your cleansing materials under lock and key in a cupboard high above that your children can't reach. And the third was to buy a sturdy car. And this was an advertisement by a major car manufacturer. Now, what they did was they were attracting a clientele that they weren't hitting on, yet they are one of the safest cars on the market. And so they wanted to attract the young couples that were having children because of the fact that their car was so safe. So this is one of the things as a holistic business, what you have to tap into is attracting all kinds of people. Now, if you are a natural right brain person, you're already attracting the right brain people because they're the ones that are sensitive too. So when you're doing any kind of energy medicine, they're going to feel it a little bit more. Now, I am a left brain person. So when I go to somebody who's holistic in nature, they will say to me, oh, you may feel this. And guess what? I hardly ever do. So, that's something that we have to understand is if I'm a left brain person and I'm not as sensitive as you, then I may not feel things. And I may agree with you by you saying, hey, did you feel that? Maybe, yeah, but that may not necessarily be enough to prove to me that I want to come back to you. And because we're holistic in nature as a holistic practitioner, often it's the subtle changes that we're wanting to note with a client, because they may not have these huge epiphanies, or they may not feel things on such a deep level. Because this is one of the things, is when we're working with subtle energy, that it's not as tangible as if you're going to somebody who's doing a body manipulation. But if you're an energy worker, or you're doing holistic consultations on a more energetic level, then you have to understand that you have to go to that next stage of proving to people what you're doing, which is actually the next thing that we need to talk about. Because if we're not proving what we're doing, then we may fall short on having people understand what it is that they're experiencing. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. But I want to just kind of end with number one. 33% of people are right-brained. Another 33% are left-brained. And right in the middle, you have another 33 or maybe 34%, give or take a few, that could be left and right brain. So therefore, if you are a holistic coach, a holistic practitioner, you typically are marketing to people like yourself who are the right brainers. And maybe you'll bring in some of those right and left brain people into your practice, but you may not be attracting the left brain people unless they understand the science behind what you're doing. And that brings me to point two. You've got to prove to people that when you're doing holistic medicine, that what you're doing is actually working. And it could be a series of questions that you ask people before and after. It could be a sheet that you work with, to again document before and after changes. But you have to prove to them what you're doing. Now, one of the things I learned early on in business school was that you have to, how can I say it? But you have to educate people. When you educate people, and again, this is proven, statistically, and again, all this information is on the internet for you to find. I'm just trying to, educate you in a quick little video of things that you can do. But one of the things that we have to understand is when you educate people, then they're more likely to come back to you. Statistically, people will return to businesses who educate. Why? Well, again, if you're trying to attract the left brain or the people who are both right and left brain, for me, it's not good enough that I'm coming to you if you're a holistic practitioner doing different forms of energy medicine. I want to understand the science behind what you do. I want to understand more about, that treatment or that therapy. So often I will study on my own, but I love it when people educate me just from the get-go of what they're going to do and what my experiences are. Okay. And so, for example, with myself, because I teach people about their chakras, their aura, often my first question to clients will be, have you heard of what the chakra system is? And if they haven't, I have a 1-minute speech or a 1-minute lecture that I give them so they understand more about the chakras. And I do it in a non-esoteric way because I want people to take what I do seriously. So I'll talk about every chakra is connected to an endocrine gland, and in the medical realm, they refer to the chakras as the neural energy plexus centers. It's hubs within our body that actually control an area. That area also controls the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual aspects of our being. So when I talk about chakras, I want people to understand that they're energy hubs, and that this is known both on a conventional and in a non-conventional practice. Okay, so you have to also educate people on the tools that you're using, the different things that you're doing, and also have them track their successes over a short period of time. When it comes to energy medicine, people will feel the most within the first 24 to 48 hours. But again, if you don't help them recognize what some of those shifts could be, then they may not understand it's your treatment. So early on in my career, before I really understood much about energy medicine, when I went to an acupuncturist, for example, I didn't feel the difference. However, as I studied acupuncture, and I mean, when I studied acupuncture, as I, went on the internet and learned more about it or read about it in alternative publications, what I understood was we were dealing with the subtle energy, but yet nobody explained that to me when I had gone to them. And I went to 3 different acupuncturists, and their education fell short. And the first 2 acupuncturists I stopped going to fairly quickly because I didn't feel any difference. And again, this is before I understood a lot about energy medicine. But if you're a holistic practitioner and this is your forte, then you have to understand you have to provide people with a bit of education, because otherwise they may not understand what you're doing and may not recognize the energy shifts. And in fact, one acupuncturist, the last one I went to, she said to me, "Well, I understood you were a holistic coach. And so I thought you knew all this." And I thought to myself, well, that's a poor excuse for not educating me on what you do, because acupuncturists can work different, just like myself being a holistic coach, a holistic practitioner, I'll work differently than other practitioners. So to me, education is key. Now, the third reason why holistic practitioners often don't get off the ground is they're not building up the repeat business. And part of that is they're not getting the client compliance. And this is really important, that you are actually having clients walk away with information so they can continue supporting themselves in the comfort of their own home. I call it homework. I give clients homework, and I tell clients, I'll give you fun homework because everything I do is related to color. So I actually give people color homework. I'll get them going home and working on their energy with different tools that color energy sells. And this is also very important for you as a holistic coach. You want to make sure that your red root chakra is strong. So you want to be working with the spiritual spray to ground your spiritual energy so you are present and living life and being there for clients. I'm going to share another story with you that happened when I went to a practitioner. And it was disappointing. And I talk about this experience because I think it's really, really important as somebody who does, energy work and body work myself, that I want people to have a good experience. So I went to this spa for body work. And when I walked into the room was quite cool. And so I had noted that to the practitioner that I was finding the room cool. And she said, "Well, I'll put a blanket on you so you'll be warmer." Well, I was under the blanket. And when she returned from the room, obviously after I undressed, I noted to her again that I was still finding the room on the cool side, that if she could turn up the heat. And so I could see that she, turned up the heater a little bit. And as she was preparing for the treatment, I, just said to her, "I'm still finding it cool in the room." And she actually made a sound, and it was like, and I thought to myself, okay, I'm the client, I'm underneath the table, literally naked. And you've put this thin blanket on me and I'm still cold. And I don't think you cranked up the heat well enough for me to be comfortable. She was wearing a sweater as well. So of course she was warm. Now, the next thing that kind of went sideways is she put an eye pillow on top of my eyes, and the eye pillow wasn't centered. It was lopsided on one side, so I was getting light underneath. Well, after the fact that she wasn't turning up the heat, I was a little frustrated. And at that point, I kind of shut down. I thought, okay, I'm just going to try to enjoy the experience. But again, the eye pillow wasn't centered, so that was a little bit on my mind during the treatment. And then she kept talking. And here I was trying to enjoy the experience. And then her phone went off. And I went, my goodness, okay, this is not a good experience. And she left the room to answer the phone. And when she came back, she said, "Yeah, my receptionist isn't here today. I apologize." But I thought to myself, you could have called the person back. I've paid, I paid to have this beautiful treatment, and I'm not feeling that I'm getting my money's worth. And of course, I'm a very friendly person. And so at the end, she said, "Well, I look forward to seeing you again." And in my mind, as I'm walking out the door, I'm thinking, no, you won't. And I would never promote her. And in fact, when I was teaching classes, I would recite my experience because I want practitioners to understand that when a client is paying you money, that they have to have the best experience. And if anything goes wrong, then of course it's on you. And you have to check in with your client during the treatment to make sure that they're comfortable, that they're warm, that they're happy, that there's nothing irritating them so they can have the best experience. So that's another little piece of advice that I want to share with you. Now, going back to you as a practitioner and building your business and getting the repeat clients, that was one of the things I wanted to talk about, is ensuring the success of your client's experience. But also, what you've got to do is go above and beyond, meaning you want to provide them with things, such as education, such as handouts, such as tools that are going to help their healing journey. So I always want clients to walk away with things. Now, you have a couple options. You can build in products to your service so they're walking away with something right away. Or you can put together a package that saves them money when they buy it as a package. And in fact, another thing that you can do is sell a series of treatments where the last treatment is where they get it for free or at a substantial discount. So for example, if you're doing a chakra, a chakra treatment where every time they come in, you're working on a different chakra center, that's 7 treatments. So maybe the 7th treatment is where they get something at a value or a discount. You can also do 1 treatment a month where they get the last treatment again for free or at a reduced value. And always save it to the end so that way they commit to their program, because you may offer other incentives like buy a package of 12 and pay for it in advance, like in totality, you get the last treatment for free. Or if you pay just as you go, then the last treatment you'll get at half price. So offer them different things so there's more of an incentive if they pay you in full, because if they pay you in full, then they're committed to their healing process. And sometimes clients need to see you on a regular basis. I used to think that maybe a client would come once or twice and, then they would go home. But one of the things that I learned, and that went with, what we were discussing on step 3 there, is that the compliance is another thing. In order to ensure the success of the work that you're doing with the client, get them doing something at home. Get them participating in the healing. And it doesn't matter what you do. If you're a nutritionist or a naturopath, then get them taking those vitamins or nutrients in the comfort of their own home, or putting them, where they're writing, what they're eating daily. So this way you can analyze it with them afterwards. Or maybe during your session, you talked about what they need to be doing. For example, eating more alkaline foods. So that way they can actually track the amount of alkaline foods that they're eating. Now, because I do chakra work, I have homework tools that actually go into the chakras, where I have them doing a self-discovery. Now, one of the things is, if you partner with Color Energy or the Biopulsar technology, these are tools that I give you for free because I want to ensure your success. Because if, say, for example, you're doing an assessment of their chakras and you discover there's one chakra that's weak, and typically it's the root, then you need to make sure that the client is doing things to rev up their root chakra. And that means giving them a list of things that they can do. So I actually created a homework sheet for every color, because what feeds a chakra is a color vibration, a color nutrition on an energetic level. And it could be food, it could be essential oils, it could be vitamins, it could be exercises. I list all these different things that a client can do to help facilitate their healing journey. So there's things that we need to do to set clients up for success. I even get clients to document their mood for the next 24, 48 hours. See if they notice anything that vibrates with that chakra, treatment. Because if, say, for example, I'm doing a root chakra treatment with them, and then I send them home with red tools, then again, what we're doing is we're educating clients on what they can do to rev up that chakra, and then they can start noticing the difference. And so I tell them, okay, with the red energy, you may notice that you're more vocal, you're more confident. Oh my goodness, I can tell you so many people have told me they're so confident when they work with their root chakra. Now, this also ties into you as a practitioner, because if you're a healing practitioner that works on that feeling level, try working with some of our red tools, because this will help give you confidence and courage. Because another important thing you need to do for your business is get your elevator spiel down pat and practice with family and friends. And what I mean by elevator spiel, in 30 seconds, you have to describe your business to people. So when you're soliciting new business, and you have to solicit new business, that is key in growing your business. And these are some of the things I talk about. I made this 1-hour video on educating you on how to be a successful holistic practitioner. So please go to our YouTube channel and watch the whole video, because I'll go into a lot more than what I've done here today. But when your root chakra is strong, your confidence level soars, and it will help you in expressing who you are and what you do confidently. Because if you're expressing yourself to a client and they don't get what you do, and you don't have the confidence to back what it is that you're saying, they're not going to feel that confidence to book your session. So if you're wondering why sometimes people don't book your session, even after you feel you've given them all the information in order to help them make that decision to book with you, maybe your elevator spiel is falling a little short. So practice talking about what it is that you do. And it has to be like a 30-second spiel. And it could be something as simple as, hi, I'm Susanne Murphy, and I'm an aura counselor. And what I do is I analyze your aura, and then I teach you about your spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical health. So what I do is I help you to find your soul purpose, answers to health issues. I help you to get back on track with your life if there's things in your life that you want to improve. It could be as simple as that, that people know that you're doing this type of coaching, so whatever it is that you do, make sure that you can describe yourself with confidence so people will book your session. Okay. And again, we have lots of red tools. We have a get up and go, a chi energy. These are the tools you need as a healthcare practitioner to boost your confidence. And so this way, your root chakra supports all your energy, including your wonderful gifts of healing. So take it from me. You got to work with your left brain energies to help you be successful. And if you'd like to learn more, as I mentioned, I already created a 1-hour video, but I wanted to share this because I've been talking to a lot of practitioners, and because of the current climate, it seems that some people are struggling in business. But when you build up your root chakra, that will drive you to business success. Now, if there's anything in this talk that you'd like to learn more about, like our color energy products or our biopulse or holistic technology, give us a call. 1-800-225-1226, extension 511 is my direct extension, so you can talk to me. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and stay tuned for next week where we're going to have another exciting topic for you to learn from. So in the meantime, enjoy your week, watch my other YouTube videos, and ciao for now.